everyone, it's Andy here, and I'm at Guitcon 2018, and I found a legend here walking inside of the Warwick famous place here. It's Pete Thorn.
What's up? Great to see you
Yeah,
here.
it's nice to meet you.
So
finally.
much fun to do something together finally.
Yeah, I mean, can you believe that we've been doing this thing since almost the beginning of YouTube, right? I mean, 2006, 7. Yeah. When did you start exactly?
I started in, I think the channel started 2006.
Okay.
That's when I started a channel. And, you know, probably like you, like, I don't really know, like, what I was doing at first.
Exactly.
I don't know, like, what do I do with this thing? I guess so YouTube. I wouldn't have named my channel something so stupid if...
What did you get stuck with? And you can't change it now? Or is it...
Well, if you go to youtube.com/Pete Thorn, it forwards to my channel.
It does forward,
It's actually SINASL, which was Stranger in a Strange Land. I don't know, I just used, I needed something, so I used that little acronym.
Right.
And I wouldn't have done that had I known it was going to be this big part of, you know, what I do every day. At this point.
That's pretty amazing how far it's come. And we were sharing similar stories about, you know, kind of as far as how production has changed with our video styles and as far as backing tracks. I mean, you didn't really start doing backing tracks till about what time?
Well, I guess, that's a good point. When did I start doing that? It was probably sometime in like 2009 or 10 or something like that. I started doing, I would more just play songs.
Yeah.
You know, and the first video I ever did was, that I kind of considered a gear demo, was really for the Suhr Badger 18 amp.
Right.
And they had sold me the amp at a nice like artist price. And I wanted to thank them for that.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can I do? And I'd just gotten a little PreSonus interface and a couple mics and stuff. So I mic'd it up and I just sort of played classic riffs through the thing.
Right.
And thought this would be a nice way to demonstrate it for anybody that can't hear this amp and they're maybe interested. They've heard about it, but they can't go and try it at a store. I'll try and present it in as honest a way as I can.
Yeah.
And just record it well.
And in context, which is important with, you know, with other instruments around it.
Yeah, well, so I didn't actually do tracks back then.
Oh,
I was just
okay,
playing the classic riffs back then. Or, I think I did like Rebel Rebel by Bowie or like maybe some Zeppelin or something like that. And I did that for a few years. And then I started getting more into, you know, it was sort of coinciding with me getting better at programming drums and, you know, getting a bass. And then it was like, well, now I can actually like, you know, come up with some tracks.
Right.
And so I started doing that. But it was actually David from Pigtronics.
Okay,
He suggested to me at one point, probably around 2009 or 10, he said, you know, I like the tracks you come up with. You should put them first in the video. Because he's like, sometimes you don't put them till the middle or the end.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
And put them up front, because people like to hear music like rather than talking, you know. And
absolutely.
I thought, that's good constructive criticism. And I started doing it, and that kind of became my thing, like doing tracks.
Yeah.
Which is something you also do.
Yeah, I think you kind of probably set the bar. I mean, I wanted to start, you know, with playing at least, you know, right off the bat. Like early days, I saw a lot of people would start off and say, hey, this is a demo of this, and they'd open the box and, you know, show the manual. I was like, okay, well, that's exactly what I'm not going to do. I'm always going to start with music, or, you know, with at least sound, you know, for 30 seconds, and then get into what it was. And then, it took a while for me to actually get into backing tracks, but I think it was a similar thing. I always used MIDI for drums, and I got really into you know, BFD and you know, Contact, and so you could get these loops and create your own tracks, or just take MIDI from the internet in general and just dump it into your DAW and start doing covers and things like that. And learning bass lines and putting that on top of it.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I mean, and then it's more interesting for people to listen to. I feel like they're hearing the thing in context. The part I like about starting with the music is that you know, people's attention span is kind of, you probably look at your YouTube statistics and look at the retention and all that and see how long people actually watch the videos for. Many people shut it off after 60 seconds or something. So you want to hit them up front, and they can say, oh yeah, I heard that pedal. Even if they watched, you know, if the video is 10 minutes, if they watched the first 45 seconds, they got a good impression.
Well, especially like you, I mean, you're always showing like the rhythm track, and then you'll, you know, then a whole different setting can be for the lead over the top of it. So you're right, they walk away, even if it's 60 seconds, with a few different settings at least, not just one sound.
Yeah. So, and I mean, the controls and stuff, don't you feel like they can figure that stuff out later on their own?
Yeah, I think early on I was, you know, the knob twiddler, and I'm going, well, who's going to turn the tone knob all the way down? You know, do I really need to show this? And so and then it was all about just compressing and just getting the essentials of something. So,
Yeah.
you know, say I do a pedal, would be 3 examples: the clean boost setting, the mid gain stuff, and then the lead. You know, that's pretty much what we're looking for, right? With overdrives and distortions, is,
Yeah.
you know, what are my 3 main sounds? So,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
but okay, so I guess getting into a little bit more technical stuff, you were talking about, you know, more of a plug-in side of things as we're kind of getting into this age of tube amp simulation and stuff. So you were telling me about your plug-in for your amp from Suhr, right?
Yeah, so basically we got together with Brainworks. Probably the idea came up a year and a half or 2 years ago or something, but they had approached us, and they had, a good friend of mine is Dave Friedman Amps, and they'd done some models of his amp for his amplifiers for the UAD platform.
Oh, wow.
And they'd done a great job on his B100 and the Dirty Shirley. Like even here last year at Guitcon, I actually did a video with Leo from Frog Leap.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
yeah, nice.
Yeah, and he asked me like, "Hey, will you play a solo on this video?" And I was like, "I'd love to, dude,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course." And so I did it here with the BE100 plug-in.
Oh,
the
nice.
Friedman BE, and I just played it, and he was like, "How are you going to do that?" And I was like, "Just give me the rhythm track, and I can sit here with headphones. Just give me 20 minutes, I'll come up with the solo, and then I'll track it." So he actually tracked the with a video camera as I was cutting the solo live right in the next room, and I just did it with and then he flew it into the video. So if you watch that video, the song was a cover of "It's a Hard Knock Life."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's on Leo from Frog Leap on the Frog Leap Studios channel, and you can hear me use the BE100 plugin on that. So anyway, while that was happening, Brainworks had approached us and said, "Send us a PT100 amp, and we'd love to model it for UAD." Now, originally, the idea of approaching an amp manufacturer with we want to make a model of your amp is a little daunting, because it's like they're in the business of selling tube amps.
Sure.
But the UAD platform is so different, because it's like you're not really going to use it in the same way as you would a tube amp.
Right.
I mean, it's a little more, although here I am today, I'm contradicting myself a bit, because what we've come up with here is a setup today where I'm actually using it and running out of my interface into a little tube amp here, into the power, just the return of the effects loop through a cabinet. So I'm actually playing it. I call it now modeling the front end. I'm modeling the amplifier, but the back end is a real tube amp and cabinet.
Yeah,
so you can do
kind of
that.
opposite what do you expect people to do with it, you know.
Exactly. But you could still, well, the amplifier has 3 channels. You can see it here if you switch the camera. That's it's basically right here, and it's a full model of the amp with the full 3 channels and all the stuff that's on the back, like the presence control and all that. It would still be difficult to switch, like how are you going to do that on stage?
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
A physical amp still is nice for those
Right,
things.
right.
Actually, So we felt like, long story short, that doing a plug-in version of the amp for the UAD platform, for more like practicing, recording sessions, that kind of thing, it's not going to take away amp
It's not going to
sales.
hurt, yeah.
I don't think so. It's only going to expose the amplifier to more people out there that are maybe UAD users that are like, "Oh, I never got a chance to try that amp. It sounds cool in plug-in form. Maybe I want to hear the real one." So that was our thinking. So so Brainworks took the amp, and they made their modeled version of it. They sent us some betas. We made some suggestions, went back and forth, and then finally released it in, I think it was the last UAD release, software release.
Yeah, I saw it come up, and I still I've yet to check it out. There's so much. I just got a Apollo this year, so I'm still trying to get through the list of plugins, and I definitely went towards the classic compressors and all that stuff. I'm still making my way through the list, but I definitely want them to try it out. So that's cool that we have it, and through an amp. So it's going to be kind of a cool experience to see how it feels. And
well, I want you to play it too and see what you think. But I'm kind of enjoying hearing other people play through it.
Yeah.
But basically, I think I'm up on the channel 2 of the amp here, and I've got there's an 1176 compressor I've got up here for the clean sounds, but it's bypassed. I got a little bit of plate reverb, and I got here an Echoplex plug-in, so that's doing the
love that one.
Doing that echo, but. So that's kind of the sound that you're hearing right now is the crunch channel, kind of like a dirty sort of British thing.
Right.
If I just kill the verb in the echo, you'll just hear.
Killer.
It's kind of a straight up kind of JMP sort of tone we got going.
Is.
But it's fun. Now, I do this a lot. I know you use the UAD aux.
Yeah.
I call that modeling the back end, where you've
Yeah.
got a tube amp and you're running into the load box and you're using the speaker simulation
Right,
stuff.
right.
So you got a tube front end modeling the back end. That's what I call that. What we're doing here is modeling the front end. You know, we got and I hadn't tried this before today.
Really?
Like actually running it. We're actually just for to be clear, what we're doing is coming right out of the output of the interface. So I'm running guitar into the UAD interface. So I've got the plug-in up on a channel in the UA console. And then I'm just coming right out of the interface and I'm plugging it into the effects return of this amp. And then, so this is serving as a tube power amp and then running through this cabinet. And it works pretty damn good, you know?
Of course, yeah.
It's like... So I'm
I
digging
can
it.
certainly feel the tube thump going on with a power amp.
Yeah.
I think that's helping.
Yeah, it could be. That's true. It lends a little something to the tone, you know. I'll go to a slightly higher gain. So I'm digging it.
That's smoking.
Yeah, it's fun. First time I've used it like this.
Yeah.
I think it's working pretty good. On the UAD console, I can simply send out to some reverb here, the plate reverb and the echo, and get a little bit of that going. And if I want to go to a clean sound, I can just bump over to the channel 1 here, and that should be that, and then I'll just turn on a little bit of a compression. So I think it's pretty fun to play through.
That sounds like a nice, clean, but it still sounds like a tube amp. You know, I think. You know?
Yeah, it has a pretty nice,
Yeah.
nice kind of tubey response.
I think they've come a long way with. I think the clean sound is almost harder for amp simulators, at least in my experience, where it's like they could nail compression and clipping, you know, but once it's the place in between the clean and dirty is really hard to get. And I think some of these newer ones, especially the UA plugins, that's where they're really nailing it, I think, you know, and then to your ears, that's the feel, you know, you could hit it hard and then it goes into the distortion zone and then it cleans up when the chords are ringing out, you know.
Yeah, that is that kind of fine line between clean and dirty.
Yeah.
And I love, so the thing I love actually always about the Badger 18, but in a lot of ELA 84 amps, Vox amps and stuff in general, they've got that great. Is it clean? Is it dirty?
Yeah.
In a track, it almost sounds clean, but then when you solo it, it's like, oh, there's actually some grit going on, but it's that organic kind of grit.
Yeah, I mean, like a classic example of that is like The Wind Cries Mary. It's dirtier than you think, you know. He's probably playing, what was he playing on that one? Like
it's probably Fender.
Yeah, like just a big twin reverb or something, you know.
Yeah, I think he recorded a lot. I mean, it could be very wrong. It might be one of those like JTM 45-100s or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
But it definitely has some grit in there, and I think a lot of people don't realize how dirty the classic clean songs, you know, tones are.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, where it's like a little bit rolled off, and you know, like the tone isn't so, or maybe there's room mics involved and stuff, and it makes it a little more distant. It's not, you know, so in your face. Some of those classic Hendrix tones, they had a lot of room stuff going on.
Yeah.
With all this kind of psychedelic and panning, you're not actually really. It's like, oh, there's actually like a fair amount of clipping going on.
Yeah, right.
That's agreed. Like in a track, it's an important thing to note, and it's an important thing to note about bass guitar too. It's like many times it's dirtier than what you're hearing.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
If you hear it soloed outside of the mix, you know, it's like, and even like kind of like how like if you take the bass part and say roundabout, for instance.
Yeah.
You hear it soloed, it's like, whoa! Like I remember when Jam It came out. Remember Jam It, the app for the iPad?
Oh yeah, okay.
And they did it for famous songs, kind of did -1 tracks where you could jam along, and so they have the original tracks, and you could solo the parts. And when you hear the roundabout, like how gnarly it is actually.
It's a Ricky too, right?
It's a Ricky and kind of a little bit of fret buzz going on. It's a very aggressive, and it's like like little. But that's what kind of makes it sound cool. In context in the mix. I find many times that it's an important thing, even with distortion tones. It's like sometimes people say that. Oh wow, you're too bright. Like sometimes people say that to me, and it's like, man, you know, like once the cymbals get going and the bass is eating up the low end, if you're just all, you know, too much of with, you know what I mean? Like you need some of that cut and upper. You need a little gnarly in your tone to cut through rock music for sure.
I think it just comes down to just kind of thinking ahead of how it's going to end up, you know, because I mean I think that just comes from experience. I mean obviously you've had plenty of experience on stage with famous artists, so you know it's like even though it might be bright now, it's going to work later. You know, you kind of just have that. You know, that sort of wisdom. You know. I
think so. Yeah. The things that you learn through recording and tracking. I always remember like the first time I used to have an amp that will remain unmentioned here, but it's a quality amp. It's a good amp, 3-channel amp from back in the day. So it was back in the '90s. Really nice amp, but a guy said to me once, it kind of sounds like it's recorded already coming out of the cabinet, like it's coming through studio monitors and it's all perfect. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And then I heard a real Marshall Plexi after that. Was like the real, like in the early to mid '90s was the first time I heard a really loud 100-watt Marshall. And it was like this like wild horse, like out of control, like oh my God. But then in the track, it's like, oh, that's how Hendrix did it. It was out of control.
Unruly.
Unruly is a perfect word. Totally unruly. Not very, you know, like just crazy. And that's how he made that music.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
So it was with that gnarliness. And sometimes with all this great technology, which I love, sometimes I think we miss that a little bit these days in guitar.
I think, you know, going back to the backing tracks that we do, a lot of it, a lot of that wildness, kind of goes away. And I find myself thinking that like the bass part, for example, like we were saying, it's not dirty enough. You know, you kind of have to go a little bit overboard with the compression and just to just get things sounding not so stale. I think, you know? So I try to record with the aux and actually mic up like just a G12H 30, just to get a little bit of the room, you know. But then I do mix it with like a virtual 412 that's in the aux, you know. So and then there's only a little bit of latency if you know. I don't know if you've ever toyed much with the actual direct signal versus the cabinet.
I haven't actually. I either do one or the other.
Yeah, it's really and I talked to the guys at UA and they're like, it's like less than 2 milliseconds, which is great. Yeah, because then you don't have a lot of phase issues. I mean, that's usually what arises when you have a emulated signal and a mic signal. So that's for me to get back to what we were saying, to get it to sound, you know, just as real as possible, but also get, you know, a nice, you know, polished sound, you know. You can balance between the mics, you know.
The nice thing on the aux is the room mics too, because you can get a lot more. Like that's a difficult thing for anybody to get that has a home studio.
Of course, but nobody has not everyone has the giant, you know, studio like that. And are you recording your what's your amp room like? Is that all in like a carpeted room, or what's the kind of material in that?
The room that I've been using for the last few years, if I'm recording a live cabinet, is a really big room actually.
Is it?
Yeah, like I can do drums in there and stuff, and it's worked really well actually for drums. It's nice. It has a stone floor, but like kind of tiled stone sort of floor. But there's a rug down, so if you wanna, you can do either. It's a great big kind of rug in there as well. So if you want to put a cab on that, it's nice. I can't use it all the time in the space that I'm in, but if it's late at night and stuff, and I'm like, I got to do something where I crank a cab, I just go in there and do it then. There's nobody else around, and then I can, you know, it's kind of a luxury. It's nice. Which, you know, I like that. I like to be able to get a little bit of a room mics is something I started experimenting with on my new album, actually. Putting them, I sort of out of laziness almost. It's not really out of laziness, because when you're engineering and you're recording, trying to get good takes, you got to set up all the mics and get the levels. It's just a hell of a lot of work. So this is where the aux comes in, things like that, or the Suhr reactive load. It just makes life easier for us if we're doing everything, you know.
Exactly.
It's hard, you know, but if you put the time in and you really want to do it, throwing up a room mic or two along with the close mics, there's a hallway in the place where I record that if you throw a mic way back in that hallway, it's kind of around the corner from where I would put the cabinet. It just sounds like
Yeah,
amazing.
and that's like
you
one of
know?
those classic tricks you always heard about in the '60s. You know, people just put a mic down the hallway, and it's really surprising how much those techniques hold up over the years. You know,
Yeah.
you could still get great results. You know,
I think that a lot of people did it a lot more back then. I mean, it was like, you know, it's kind of started with Jimmy Page and stuff, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
You know, really experimenting with the big, you know, recording in rooms and using the room, not being so dry, you know,
Right.
going for that stuff in the Zeppelin recordings. Really, really interesting to experiment with that stuff. I
Right.
find. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, like we're doing here, we're doing modeling the front end, or like I say, modeling the back end with the aux. It's all just tools. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, like however
Oh,
you
yeah.
get to a good sounding piece of music,
Absolutely.
I don't really care as long as it sounds good.
Yeah, yeah, and then especially since we're always trying to produce as much as we can. It seems it's a no-brainer for me, at least, you know, to do something that's already has presets and it's ready to go, and I don't have to worry about, you know, getting the mic in the right position. I could just, you know, you just record with something and get a great sound. So
It's
why not?
recallable.
Yeah.
It allows you when you're doing everything to focus more on the notes and the music.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, less on the engineering and the getting, oh, I got to get this sound cool. What about the performance?
Yeah,
You know, if you've only got a
absolutely.
certain amount of time to get something cut,
Yeah.
it allows you to focus more on the playing and on what you're going to come up with. you know,
Right,
So it's nice. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see if if I could feel the tube essence in that amp or not. So
You wanna play it?
Yeah, you want to swap and
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then maybe we should play something together. I think maybe
That'd
we
be
kind of
awesome.
owe it to some.
You can
some
play my
viewers.
guitar and I'll play the PRS and we could play something.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Right on, man. That was fun.
Yeah, it's
Super
always
fun.
it's always a nice game, wondering where you're going to end up. You know.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Well, thanks so much, Pete. It was really great to get to hear your story and just to be in the same room with you for the first time. So.
Yeah, man, real pleasure for
Yeah.
me as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I love what you do.
Oh, thanks so much.
You're at the top of your game, and I love what you come up with. So
Oh, I
you do
appreciate
great
it,
work.
man. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you later with some more Guitcon stuff. Thanks for watching.
Take care, everybody. See ya.